I never thought one careless decision, one shameful denial of Jesus, would drag me into a nightmare beyond human imagination. I wasn't a murderer, I wasn't some violent criminal. I was just a young man, hungry for fun, for popularity, for approval. But the night I said, I don't know him. I don't care about Christ, something shifted. Hours later, I found myself outside my own body, spiraling downward into a place I thought only existed in sermons. I smelled the stench of burning flesh before I saw the flames. I heard voices screaming names, begging for mercy that never came. And as the heat wrapped around me like chains, I realized, hell is real, and it was waiting for me. Before I go deeper into this testimony, I want to pause and thank each and every one of you who has been supporting this channel. Your comments, your prayers, and the way you share these stories, it keeps this mission alive. I read your testimonies, I see your struggles, and I thank God for this community of people who are hungry for truth. If this is your first time here, welcome. You are not here by accident. God brought you here for a reason. And to all my brothers and sisters who have been here for a while, may the Lord bless you richly. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from right now? Please type your country or city in the comments. Let's make this moment a global family gathering, united in truth. My name is Daniel, and I grew up in what many would call a Christian home. My parents loved the Lord, they prayed every morning before we left for school, and they made sure Sundays were reserved for church. From the outside, I looked like a good Christian boy. People at church thought I was well-mannered, respectful, and even anointed, because I could recite Bible verses without hesitation. But behind closed doors, I was someone else. As a teenager, I learned very quickly how to play the part. I knew when to lift my hands during worship, how to say the right amen at the right time, and how to smile so no one would suspect the emptiness inside. But in truth, I was living a double life. At school, I wanted to be that guy, the one everybody liked, the one who always had a joke, the one who didn't care about rules. Slowly, I started craving the approval of my classmates more than the approval of God. That craving drove me into friendships I should never have had. I remember my first real compromise. I was about 16 when a group of friends invited me to a party. My parents had warned me against such gatherings, but I told them it was just a study group. The music was loud, alcohol flowed freely, and the air was thick with smoke. My heart pounded, partly with guilt and partly with excitement. That night I laughed at dirty jokes, took my first sip of alcohol, and danced like I had no conscience. When I returned home, I looked in the mirror and whispered to myself, nobody will ever know. But God knew. And my soul knew. From there, the slope became steeper. Parties became routine. Lies became easy. Pornography became a secret habit. My prayer life withered until it was non-existent. Yet every Sunday, I still wore my clean shirt, carried my Bible, and acted like the model son. What made it worse was the pride in my heart. Deep down, I thought, hell. That's for murderers, witches, and people who never go to church. Not me. I'm not that bad. I even mocked my mom when she prayed for me, telling her she was too religious. One night, while hanging out with friends, someone asked me directly, Daniel, do you really believe in all this Jesus stuff your parents talk about? Everyone's eyes were on me. To admit I was a Christian would have made me look weak, uncool, out of place. So I laughed and said, come on, man. I don't care about that. That's just for people who are scared of life. Those words left my mouth so easily, but they would come back to haunt me in ways I could never have imagined. Looking back now, I realize that every little compromise, every secret sin, and every denial of Christ was like digging a pit for myself. But at that time, I didn't see it. I thought I had time. I thought I could enjoy my life and repent later. I thought God would always be waiting on me. But sin has a way of numbing your conscience. The more I indulged, the less I felt any guilt. The less I felt guilt, the further I drifted from God. And before long, I had become what the Bible calls lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, Revelation 3 verse 16. I had no idea that this lukewarmness, this double life, this denial of Jesus before men, was leading me straight into the nightmare of hell itself. It was the night of June 12, 2015. A date I can never forget. That evening, I had just come back from a party with some of my closest friends. The music was still ringing in my ears, my shirt reeked of smoke and alcohol, and my heart was filled with an emptiness I didn't want to acknowledge. We were all crammed into my friend's car, laughing and mocking anyone who couldn't keep up with the fun. As we drove down the highway, one of the guys turned to me and said, "Daniel, I still can't believe your parents are those church freaks. You don't really believe in that nonsense, do you?" And I, once again, laughed. I said with a smirk, "Man, I don't care about all that Jesus stuff. That's just fear tactics." Those words had barely left my lips when, in a moment, everything changed. There was a blinding flash of headlights. The screech of tires. The violent sound of metal crashing against metal. My body jolted, pain shot through me, and then, silence. It all happened so fast that I couldn't even scream. The next thing I knew, I was outside of my body. I could see the wreckage of the car. My friends were groaning, bloodied, some crying. I saw my own body slumped unnaturally against the seat, lifeless. My first thought was confusion. Wait, am I dead? This can't be real. This isn't happening. I tried to speak, but no one could hear me. I tried to touch my friends, but my hand went right through them. Panic flooded me. My mind raced, this is it, this is death. Then suddenly, I felt it. A force, strong, invisible, undeniable, began pulling me downward. It was like gravity, but heavier, darker, filled with an unholy magnetism. I screamed, I struggled, I clawed at the air, but nothing could stop it. The atmosphere around me shifted. At first it was silence, thick and suffocating. Then came the sounds, faint at first, then louder, cries, screams, agonizing wails. It was a sound that pierced my soul because it wasn't just pain, it was hopelessness. As I descended, the smell hit me next. Sulfur. Burning flesh. Rotting decay. It was so overwhelming I felt sick, but I had no body to vomit with. Every sense was intensified, smell, sound, fear. Then the darkness swallowed me. It wasn't the kind of darkness you experience when you turn off the lights in your room. No. This was alive. It was thick, suffocating, filled with presence. The kind of darkness that made you feel seen, but not by God, by something else. In the distance, I saw flickers of orange and red. The closer I was dragged, the more I realized it wasn't just fire, it was an ocean of flames, stretching as far as the eye could see. Shapes moved inside the fire. Human forms. Souls. They screamed, reaching out, but no one heard them. No one answered them. The pull grew stronger. And then, I heard laughter. A deep, mocking, demonic laughter that shook me to my core. You denied him. You laughed at him. Now laugh with us forever. I wanted to scream, to cry, to beg for mercy, but my own words from earlier echoed back at me. I don't care about Jesus. And in that moment, terror unlike anything I'd ever known gripped me. This was not a dream. This was not a nightmare I could wake up from. This was the beginning of my eternity. The pull didn't stop. It yanked me deeper and deeper until I landed on something solid, but it wasn't ground as I knew it. The floor was hot, alive, pulsating like burning iron beneath my feet. Instantly, pain shot up through me, though I had no physical body. It was as if my very soul was capable of feeling fire. I staggered forward, gasping, though I had no lungs. The air was thick, choked with sulfur and smoke, and every breath felt like swallowing acid. Then I saw them. Countless souls, twisted in agony, screaming until their voices cracked. Their eyes, hollow, wide with terror, searched desperately for escape. Some clawed at invisible walls. Others beat their heads against the fiery ground. Their skin peeled, burned, regenerated, and burned again in an endless cycle. The sound was unbearable. Millions of cries, overlapping, rising and falling like waves of torment. Each voice was distinct, yet together they formed a chorus of despair. I covered my ears, but I couldn't block it out. The screams weren't just heard, they were felt. They pierced into my being. I recognized some of them. There was a man from my neighborhood, a drunkard I used to mock as a kid. His voice echoed above the rest, crying out, "Just one more chance. Please." He tore at his own face, but the flames swallowed his words. Then, horrifyingly, I saw a young girl I once knew from school. She was popular, always laughing, always the life of the party. But here, her laughter was gone. Her tongue burned, and she choked on sobs, screaming my name when she saw me. "Daniel! Daniel! Warn them! Don't let them come here." My heart shattered, but before I could answer, something else came. The demons. They weren't the red, cartoonish creatures people imagine. No. These were shadows with form, grotesque, twisted beings with eyes like molten lava. Their presence radiated hatred, the kind of hatred that strips you down to nothing. One towered over me, skin cracked like volcanic rock, wings torn and jagged. He snarled, "This is where cowards belong. You denied him. Now you are ours." His voice was like thunder laced with poison. He swung his arm, and instantly a whip of fire lashed across me. I screamed as it tore through my soul, a pain far deeper than physical. It was shame, regret, agony, all in one. Memories flashed before me, moments I had denied Christ, moments I chose friends over faith, moments I mocked my mother's prayers. Each memory was like a nail, driven deeper into me by the demon's laughter. Then they dragged me. They pulled me toward a pit within the pit, a hole that seemed endless, filled with screams so shrill they could drive a mind insane. The heat was unbearable. The closer I got, the more every part of me trembled. "Throw him in," one hissed. "He belongs with the liars and the proud," another shrieked. I begged. For the first time, I begged. "Please. Jesus. If you can hear me, please. Give me another chance. I'm sorry." But my own voice sounded weak against the storm of screams. Then, silence. The demons froze. The fire stilled. For a split second, everything stopped. And in that silence, I heard a voice. It wasn't like the demonic thunder. It wasn't like the cries of the damned. It was still, yet powerful. Gentle, yet commanding. "Enough. This one is not yours." Light pierced through the darkness, not like fire, but pure, radiant, holy light. The demons recoiled, shrieking, shielding themselves. The souls lifted their eyes, longing for it, but unable to reach. The light touched me, and for the first time since leaving my body, I felt peace. The fire around me still burned, but it could not consume me. And then the voice spoke again. "Daniel, remember this place. For I have spared you, not because you deserve it, but because of my mercy. Go back, and warn them. Tell them hell is real. Tell them I am the only way." The words shook me, not with fear, but with love. Tears poured from me, not physical tears, but the deepest sorrow and gratitude of my soul. And just like that, I was pulled upward, out of the pit, out of the screams, out of the sulfur, back toward the world of the living. As that light pulled me upward, I felt the weight of the darkness loosening its grip. The claws of the demons that had dragged me so mercilessly just moments ago could no longer touch me. Their shrieks echoed, but they grew faint, distant, powerless against the one who had spoken. I was no longer sinking, I was being lifted. My soul trembled, not from fear this time, but from awe. The fire faded, the screams softened, and in their place came a silence so pure, so overwhelming, it wrapped around me like peace itself. Then I saw him. Not fully. For his glory was too much for me to behold, but I saw enough to know without a doubt who he was. His presence radiated love and holiness. Every part of me knew, this is Jesus. I fell before him, or at least my soul did. And for the first time since leaving my body, I wept, not from torment, but from the crushing weight of my shame. All the times I denied him, all the nights I mocked his name, all the chances I wasted, they flashed before me like a storm of regret. I whispered, broken, Lord, I'm sorry. Please, don't send me back there. I can't survive it. And he spoke. His voice wasn't angry, though I deserved his wrath. It wasn't distant, though I deserved abandonment. It was filled with sorrow and mercy. Daniel, you are alive today because of my mercy. You were standing on the edge of eternal separation, yet I reached down to spare you. Not because you were worthy. Not because you were righteous. But because I love you. His words pierced deeper than any flame. I couldn't comprehend how such love could reach someone like me. You denied me before men, he continued, yet I give you one more chance. You must go back. Warn them. Tell them I am real, and hell is real. Tell them my Father never created hell for man, but for the devil and his angels, Matthew 25 verse 41. Yet all who reject me, all who choose sin, will share that fate. I nodded, trembling, as his words carved themselves into my soul. Go back, Daniel. Tell the lukewarm that I will spit them out, Revelation 3 verse 16. Tell the proud that pride leads to destruction, Proverbs 16 verse 18. Tell the sinner that today is the day of salvation, 2 Corinthians 6 verse 2. Warn them, for time is short. As he spoke, I saw tears in his eyes. Tears for souls who were still rejecting him. Tears for the countless who mocked him as I once did. I wanted to stay with him. Every fiber of me longed never to leave that presence. But his command was clear, I had to return. And then, with a gentle yet powerful force, he touched me. The light engulfed me once more. My spirit surged upward, faster and faster, until I felt myself slam back into my body. I gasped. My chest heaved. Pain shot through me. And I opened my eyes to the blurry vision of flashing ambulance lights. I was alive. But I was not the same. When I woke up in the hospital the next morning, the doctors called it a miracle. They said I shouldn't have survived the crash, let alone be able to speak. My body was bruised, but my spirit had been shattered and rebuilt by what I saw. The first person I saw at my bedside was my mother. She had been crying, clutching her Bible. When our eyes met, I couldn't hold it in. I broke down in tears, whispering, Mom, you were right. Jesus is real. Hell is real. I saw it. I was there. She wept even harder, but this time with joy. From that day, everything changed. The cravings I once had for parties, alcohol, and the approval of friends were gone. I couldn't even stand the thought of going back to those things. Every time temptation whispered, I remembered the screams, the fire, the hopelessness. I remembered the mercy that pulled me out. I cut ties with many of my old friends. Some laughed at me, others said I was crazy, but I didn't care. Eternity had become more real to me than their opinions. I started spending hours in prayer, not out of duty, but out of desperation to stay close to the one who saved me. Now, when I look at people, classmates, neighbors, strangers on the street, I don't just see faces. I see souls. Souls heading somewhere forever. And I know my mission, to warn them, to tell them, to cry out before it's too late. The old Daniel died in that accident. The one who woke up was a man marked by mercy, burning with a single truth: hell is real, and so is the love of Jesus Christ. Friend, listen to me. I am not sharing this story for entertainment. I saw with my own eyes what eternity without Christ looks like. Hell is not a parable. It is not a scare tactic. It is real, and it is forever. Don't make the mistake I made. Don't wait until it's too late. Jesus said, "Whoever denies me before men, I will also deny before my Father in heaven," Matthew 10 verse 33. Those words nearly became my fate. Choose him now. Repent, surrender, live for him. Eternity is one breath away. Hell is real. Heaven is real. Where will you spend forever? Before we end, I want to leave you with this question: do you believe hell is real? If you died tonight, where would your soul spend eternity? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share your answers in the comments. Your story might encourage someone else. And let me know where you're watching from, so we can pray together across nations. Thank you for listening to my testimony. I don't take your time for granted. May God protect you, guide you, and keep you ready for the day you meet him face to face. Until next time, stay ready.